Welcome to SFH Presents One More Podcast.
Welcome to SFH Presents One More Podcast. I'm your host, Zach Polk, here with my co-host, Ty Southern.
Hey.
Today we have with us George Eshleman. Just want to remind you guys before we get into it, we are not medical professionals. This is for entertainment purposes only. If you are indeed in danger, we're probably not the people to listen to or reach out to first. George, let's get right into this shit. What does still fucking here mean to you?
I read that when you first sent it to me, and probably there's a higher power that doesn't have me, dying. I mean, it's any of us that are still here through some pretty hellacious shit. There's a reason that we're still here. So yeah, I mean, it's not done with what I'm doing, whatever that's going to be.
I love it.
I'm way more.
So I did a tiny. I generally and I state this often on the podcast. We don't do any research purposely because we want it to be organic. But I cheated a little bit. I did a little research. You had a movie that came out last year about a part of your life. And a lot of it, even being a civilian, I still deal with depression. I definitely went through some pretty heavy suicidal ideation in my life, and immediately connected with the story of it. I haven't watched the movie yet. I actually looked for it and wasn't sure exactly where I could find it on streaming services. There's so many of those damn things now.
Yeah.
But the movie's called The Keeper.
I was saying.
And I'm going to let you kind of explain. We'll play the trailer right after too, but kind of explain what this movie's about.
I'm a movie guy.
Yeah, it was a hike that I did in 2016. And it carried 363 name tapes of veterans that committed suicide, real people. I didn't know any of the people that sent me the name tapes. In April, I got a call while I was on my way to work that my best friend took his life. Not like after, it was during the process. I was speaking with his wife. She was holding him on the couch. And that just, I was done, finished. I stopped my truck, turned around, went back home. Never went back into work. And September started hiking the AT, but people were sending me names, because I put it on Facebook. I was going to hike it and bring my best friend's name and put it up at Katahdin. And no one knew that I was going to take my life on the trail. I mean, that was planned. I mailed a gun to myself because I couldn't, carry it on a plane. But all these people started sending me these name tapes. And I started the hike, and the second day on the trail behind Rainbow Stream Shelter, about 75 yards behind it, sitting behind a tree, ready to go. Brand new Glock, never fired at one round, black Talon round. And all of a sudden, it was just like everything hit me. These names in my lap, these are real people, and I can't do this to these people. I'm not alone. And that was a big thing. The entire rest of the hike was no one's ever alone. No one walks a trail alone. The trail in life, no one does. And I think for soldiers, we've seen enough death and destruction. Death doesn't scare us anymore. And that might be a reason why it's a little easier for veterans to, pull the pin, see what's next. It doesn't we're not fearful of it. But if you have a stronger will to live than to die, that's what you got to fight. Like you say, still fucking here, man. You got to stick around because there's so much, I never knew a movie would be made about me. I wrote the book or manuscript, and an active duty naval commander who flies Ospreys contacted me, and he turned it into a screenplay. And from there, 5 years later, the movie, and I'm thinking, God, if I'd have done that on the trail, you never know what your life's going to transpire into. So stick around.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, at a minimum, you wouldn't be here to have this conversation with us. I mean, this whole entire podcast is built the reason it's one more is because we want to help one more person. We want to get out to one more person, want one more person to get relief from those feelings,
Right.
And your story is the first thing I think of is, so when you originally made the plan, you were going to go on this hike and you sent the gun, you were going to end your life during or at the end of, but the hike was for your friend, right? Like you were carrying his. Yeah,
it was, I've known him since we were 9 years old. We'd always played Army and stuff in the woods. We went hiking and stuff. And, so while you haven't lived down south, you always had the AT, Appalachian Trail, some other trails. But we never hiked the AT. And that was something we wanted to do, when we got out of the military. and never got a chance to, obviously. But that was my way of saying, goodbye. Go up to Katahdin, put his name tape, at the top of the mountain, go back down and, do my thing.
So how did the word get out for all of the other people to send theirs to you?
I had put on Facebook what I was going to do. And I mean, I'm not a big Facebook person. I may have had a couple hundred people, friends.
Yeah.
And it just went viral. They started contacting other people they knew. And it was amazing. Not amazing, but it was pretty sad how many people knew someone who took their lives.
Shit.
And it just started flowing in. And I can only make 363 because that's all the money I had, aside from my flight to go up there. And what food I needed and stuff like that. So I had to stop at 363. But yeah, I mean, I've still got over 1,200 names that are in books and, notepads that I'll still go hike, but now I take them on the paper. I don't make name tapes. I just can't make another name tape. But it after that hike, and I still got them. I still carry the original 363 with me. They're in my pickup truck 24/7. Wherever I go, they go with me. And I could not stomach making another name tape. So,
damn,
understandable.
I can't imagine like trying to put myself in the headspace you were in and making that plan and then having all those names fall in your lap and like I'm sure you were. I can't even I don't even know how I would respond to that, whether it be positive, negative, pressure, or how that would feel.
I'd pull it off as an enlightening or an epiphany, so to speak, that behind the tree, and in the movie, the gun is to my chest. And this will kind of make kind of weird thought, but I know my mom would want to have an open casket. So I didn't want to put one in my head. But yeah, as I sat there, memories started flowing through. And short-term memories, like the people I met on the airplane that saw the name tapes, the old man at the hostel, the owner, people at the Appalachian Trail Cafe, the Blue Ox Bar, all these people that met me the entire way from that point I got on the plane in Chattanooga to Maine and all the way to the point of the Rainbow Stream Shelter. It was just, I was like, man, you just touched at least another couple hundred people's lives that, they might be impacted. It's like, hey, yeah, we found a body on the trail. What's that guy that had name tapes? Well, I talked to him at the cafe yesterday morning,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, all that, it was an eye-opening that, wow, as deep as you get in your thoughts and stuff, you're not alone. I mean, no one's special. My problems aren't any, better or worse than yours. And everybody has shit going on in their lives, but it's like, like I like y'all saying, still fucking here, man. What's next? Throw me something else. I'll handle that too.
So we've I mean, even probably in the last episode we recorded, this is a common thing when we have veterans on, where it's like when you come away from that brotherhood and you come back to the States, that oftentimes you feel purposeless, or that you have less of a purpose, or that it's really hard to find a purpose. Was it a conflicting thing when you're thinking about ending your life, and now like those names had to make you feel more of a purpose, at least for the time being?
Yeah, I mean, from the point behind the shelter to the end of the hike and the other subsequent 2 through hikes, I've done it 3 times. That I had a purpose to get back to Georgia. In the movie, my wife calls me, and everything in the movie actually happened, by the way, even the phone calls. And my purpose now was to get back home. I could have flown back home. I could have, jumped on a bus, went back home. And it was, no, I need my time. I need every day to talk to these guys and girls, sleep with them in my tent, eat, just all. So I needed that time. And that's what I needed. It was at the right time, right place. But yeah, my mission was to get home. And once I got home, Rhonda, she had passed away in 2017. And she said, you need to do another hike, go back out. And I went back out the second one. And when I finished that one, came back home, and she passed away September 2017. So she lived another 2.5 months, but she knew what I needed. And in the movie, it says she kept me vertical. For 24 years, I didn't even know I had PTSD. I was just an asshole. I was an angry person, would fight at the drop of a hat for what I had at the ground. I'm going to jail. drinking, just doing stupid shit. And she put up with it because her dad had PTSD and her cousin, he hung himself. So she understood. But then as it got to the point where, my friend took his life, she could see right then and there that there's nothing else she can do, that I'm on my own, and she'll do whatever she can do to keep me alive other than lock me up and chain me in a closet. But I think it scared her more. And I couldn't imagine what she was going through while I was on the trail because in the movie, she even says and in real life, she had called me. I remember the morning after she woke me up and so it's kind of early. She said, I had a dream. And I said, oh, and she goes, I had a dream you shot yourself.
What?
She did not know how right she was until she read the screenplay.
Holy
Yep.
shit.
Yep. And she said, just promise me you're going to come home. I'm about to choke up now. She's like, promise me you're going to come home. I'm like, yeah, I will.
That is heavy.
I promise. So I came home, but it's I've actually had I'll get in the next, thing, which happened a couple of months back, but I mean, no one's ever completely fixed. There's no way to forget the smell or the looks or the emotions or anything like that, or your buddies or anything. So that never goes away. Medicine won't even cure it. What cures it is, we're still fucking strong, man. We're military. We're soldiers. We're the most feared military in the world. Your enemies are not going to kill you. How fucking dare you kill yourself? Are you stupid? You just survived all that shit. To come home and do that? No, don't do that to your family or friends or nothing like that. It's not your right. It's not your story to end.
Preach.
Let's go. So,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's but yeah, I don't drink anymore. I was a big Scotch drinker. I remember going to the VA and telling them, they always ask, do you want to hurt yourself? It's like, other than like right now, no. I didn't like the person I was talking to, but
it's like this very moment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. How many? But they asked me if I drank, and I said, yeah. She goes, well, how much? I said, anywhere between 16, 18, maybe 20. And she goes, a week? I was like, no, that's a day, ma'am. She goes, a day? I was like, yeah. She goes, that's binge drinker. I said, well, I've been binging for the past 20 years then, I mean, I could drink 24 beers. And I thought I sounded normal,
Yeah.
But I'm sure other people. But yeah, I mean, I did that. Yeah. But I drank a lot of scotch, and I wasn't a cheap drunk. My scotch ran $85 to $120 a bottle, the good stuff, And 3 months ago, I hadn't drank in like a year of scotch because I knew scotch is bad for me. And I went and bought 2 bottles, and I know I drank. Had about 4 inches left of the second bottle when I woke up the next morning. But during that time, I had a welfare check called on me. Didn't know. I passed out. I blacked out. Okay. That's not the scary part. I'm laying on my floor in my bathroom. I ain't got a stitch of clothes on. My son comes in there, surprises him. So he kind of kicks me on the foot and says, Dad, there's police at the door. And I'm beyond wasted. I'm like, what? So I get dressed, fall over a few times trying to put my sweatpants on. I walk out there and there are 2 cops at the door and paramedics in the driveway. And I'm, the fuck? And I've always said, don't ever call a welfare check on a vet. It pisses us off. But at that point, I just laid on the couch and the EMTs, he says, ask me some questions. How many quarters are in a dollar? And I'm like, 4. He's like, well, he sounds like he's okay, just drunk. And they left. Well, I went back in my room, went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and what I found on my dresser was a loaded Glock. Didn't have a bullet in the chamber, but it had a clip in it. And my Glock was in my bottom drawer of my dresser in a box in its little case. And I don't play with guns, obviously, but I blacked out. I don't remember sending a few texts that I did to a friend, and that's what caused the welfare check. So I wouldn't answer the phone.
Looks really good.
I don't remember any of that, so I blacked out. And when I woke up and saw that pistol on the dash, I was like, "That's it. I don't drink anymore." So that was the man upstairs saying, look, I'm not going to hold your hand anymore. Grow the hell up. Yeah. Quit doing that. So
can't tiptoe with this shit.
No, man. It'll fucking hurt you. And it'll happen real quick. And I'd hate to arrive up there at St. Peter going, please, I don't remember it. Can you send me back down? you know.
Yeah.
I'd at least like to know why the fuck I'm up here. But yeah,
I was in a good headspace. What happened?
yeah. I had good scotch down there. Wouldn't you snatch me up now? Come on.
Tell me you at least got some heavenly CC video of it or something. I don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you show me back the footage, Lord?
Yeah.
Maybe what's up?
Damn. So
But yeah.
I also had read where you being in the military wasn't the first in your family. Like you were carrying on a bit of a legacy.
Yeah, my entire family was artillery. Way back, all the way back to, gosh, I'm sure Revolutionary War, but I know Gettysburg. Major Ben F. Eshleman was the commander of the Washington's artillery at Gettysburg. And Washington's artillery was a Louisiana artillery unit. They just called it from General Washington, not General like our General Washington, but a General Washington that was in the military at the time. But yeah, it was his. And so yeah, artillery goes all the way back in our family. And I remember in Desert Storm, we were it was me and 3 other surveyors. We were artillery surveyors, and we're in front of the guns, but we moved so fast. Everybody was. We did 100 miles in 2 days, and you're talking self-propelled 8-inch howitzers, which is incredible, quick, while engaging targets. And we had 1st Infantry, 1st Armored, and the 4 observers that were supposed to be up there apparently weren't up there. They didn't get there in time, or they weren't in the right position. So we were the only ones available. So our call sign went from Roadrunner 6 to Reaper 6-4, which was theirs. And I remember, I won't go into detail, but I remember one episode, I was about losing it, and I'm 21 years old, man. And I'm about losing it, and we have these things called RILE towers, and they followed the military. You pick up the phone, literally, and call the AT&T operator. It rings up, say, I want to call my dad back home. And it's maybe 9 o'clock at night back in Louisiana. And he picks up the phone. I said, Dad, I want to come home. And he, I remember that his voice. He says, son, you have a lot of people counting on you. Click off the phone. He didn't try to baby me. He didn't say no. He's been there, and he knew. I need to get your ass back in the fight, kid. I don't need to be patting you on the back. I need to tell you, you got guys counting on you. Hung up the phone. And my sister said it. Until I got back home, he was a mess. He was, because he didn't want to do that, but he knew what he had to. And I think that's what we have to do with the veterans. It's like, shake them up. Hey, man, look, I'm not going to baby you. You're about to do something really stupid. Don't be a dumbass, So, but yeah.
Yeah, it was probably very difficult for him to do, but it was a good move. He probably had the wisdom to see that it was even for your own good,
100%.
your own future happiness. That if you would have left at that time, how you would have dealt with that, Yeah.
Yeah. So
not only the underlying truth, the fact that there were people counting on you as well,
but all the way down to the fact that you would have felt like you were the only one in your family that quit.
Yeah.
All the way since the Revolutionary War, none of them quit except you. Like that alone you'd ended up pulling that trigger.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because that'd be a sad piece of information that you'd never be able to put down, even if it wasn't true.
Yeah,
yeah.
My youngest son, he has to have his feet operated on. He wanted to go in the military, and I told him, I said that as much as I'd love for you to go in, I would really rather you not, because if you get medically discharged during basic or your first whatever year, I said you're gonna hate yourself, and it's not your fault. So
yeah,
go do something else, with your life or whatever. But yeah, once you're in, we have a purpose, and once you get out, you got to find that purpose again. And sometimes it falls into your lap behind a tree on a trail. Other days it falls in your lap doing podcasts, or falls in your lap, talking to veterans on the crisis line or whatever. But, everybody has a purpose, man.
Yeah. Well, as I said, it's. I think that's something that people need to be reminded of, and sometimes with veterans in general. I think you could say the same for civilians too. But when somebody's in that, who was the guy we had on? We had a guy on a couple of weeks ago who was just in that. He came back. He felt purposeless. He kind of just went down the path of drinking, not taking care of himself. And at some point, he turned the corner and started getting healthy, but it took him like having other things to put himself into.
Well,
So
yeah,
he was,
Brian Adamson sounds right, but yeah, he's got like 4 degrees and three kids and 2 step kids and a lot of stuff that he's got going on, that he realized that if he dove headfirst into all of these chores or the responsibilities or the people that depended on him, then he didn't have to give the prime focus to the demons. And
Right.
eventually it became his practice that he not kept his head down for everybody, but figured out how to minimize the problem with action rather than other steps. He kept moving, basically.
well,
He's
and
like,
he,
hey,
he
whatever
ended
system ends up working.
he ended up in the long run. During the hurricane in North Carolina, he noticed that everybody was sending, heavy machinery and chainsaws and all this shit and water bottles and nobody knew where to go. So he just kind of went in and grabbed the bull by the horns and veteran style, really. I mean, and put the logistics together and made a portal for people to send in requests for shit and made sure that he got people where they needed to go. And now that's his purpose, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, his top was about to blow because that he was dealing with all the hurricane stuff and like making up ways for everyone to communicate, like not setting up existing things that there was training for. He had to wing a lot of stuff, and I'm like, bro,
That's just the military, man. Yeah, that's just
Yep.
come on,
Yeah, shit.
let's go.
Pretty quick. You got to learn how to, hammer Jello to a wall. Figure it out.
Soup
Figure it
sandwich
out.
and football bats. Come on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You said there was a trailer for this, Zachary?
Yeah, you want
I'd
to
like
watch
to
that
see
now?
this keeper trailer very much, if it's all right with the team.
It's on.
Yeah.
I'm a movie guy. I'm giddy as hell. I'm gonna locate this flick.
It's on a Prime Video. It's on Tubi, Plex.
Got
Okay.
Prime Video. All right,
place,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
because
and-
on the nub side here, there's a bookshelf, just 1,500 DVDs.
good DVDs.
I like my movies.
Yeah. Oh well, you'll like this in 2014.
Right.
We had carried this thing around I met Rhonda in '97. Carried it around since then, and I think it was the only VCR still left on the East Coast. We didn't have anything to play in it, but I had to get rid of it. I'm like, dude, this is a Sony VCR, I mean,
Come on.
this is so. We ended up tossing that thing out, but the DVDs. I had a laptop that would play DVDs, in there, and I don't know, it was just kind of neat but you have to remember to rewind the DVD, so you're,
You can rewind.
yeah.
Dude, it's so funny just talking about that because there's so many things, especially in technology. Imagine if at one point you were like, "Hey man, I figured it out. I'm gonna build a little piece of machinery, and all that it does is rewind VCRs, and we're gonna make millions. It's gonna set us up for life."
And compact disc comes out and then everything's ruined.
It's like fuck.
Well, you know how big our small little GPSs are nowadays. I mean, it's like I had one when I rode a bicycle from San Diego. I was riding across the country, and COVID hit. I had to stop in Apache Junction, Arizona. But it's a little. I mean, it's maybe 2.5 inches by 1.5 inches, and it was a tracker GPS. Well, we had what we call PADS in Desert Storm. 91. It's position azimuth determining system, and it literally took up the entire back of a Humvee. The entire back of the Humvee. Man, there was
bed of a truck, the bed of a regular size pickup.
Yeah, we had our Humvee had the pads in back. I had Bauman, Wutecki, Wilson, and me. And I remember going. It was nighttime. We're hitting these wadis and going down and up. And I remember Wutecki in the back. I mean, because we had an AT4. I think it hit him, fell off the back. But he looked down and he's looking at the little cases because we always kept grenades in the cardboard little tube, right? And he's looking around and he sees a tube open. And he kind of got freaked. He's like, "Ash, how many frags did we pick up?" I was like, "We should have 8, 2 each." Well, one of them's open. Man, I come to a dead stop and people jumping out. I said, and I mean, but it was instinct. I'm like, well, if it was out, we were going to die. And I mean, we already exploded, but everybody just jumped out. It's like a little, okay. We found it. Yeah, it popped out of its little can, was rolling around under the, not under the seat, but in the back by his feet and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, we got to be a little more careful. Okay, we need some adult supervision here. I mean, we've got some, but yeah, that AT4, which that was we had just got the Syngar radio back then, which was the high tech one now, and it's like the low tech, nowadays. But yeah, it was. We'd
pads was some NASA shit. It was like, they needed it had its own vehicle.
yeah. I mean, it's like they had dedicated satellite for it. Now it's like you pick up grandma's satellite somewhere, but yeah, it was fun over there. We had I think Snickers and Pepsi sponsored that war. We had cases of Pepsi in the back of the Humvee. We had Snicker bars, man. These Snickers, Camel cigarettes were in the solid white carton, not ready, not for resale. And we go to other units and in the back. I drove Major Brumley, the XO. Wilson, he drove Colonel Lawrence. Yeah. Well, we had on the front of our Humvees, and when we weren't doing survey, we had their vehicles. So mine had Major Brumley on that side. Bauman jumped in with me, and we went across. We were Tactical Assembly Roosevelt, I think. But anyway, went across to another unit, and he had his T-shirt on, but he also had Major Brumley's helmet on, Major, and Major Brumley on. So we dropped up to the gate, and they're looking, throw us a salute, right on through. We go where the mess tent is, and there's a reefer van out there. Hell, we just parked, walked up there, went inside, grabbed a whole shitload of Snickers and Pepsi, walked back out. We're almost all the way to our place. We see these two Humvees chasing after us. We're like, oh, fuck. We get to the front, man. I'm like, Petarelli, don't let them in. What?
Yeah.
Just don't fucking let them in. So they ended up coming in and started a lot of shit with us, saying we stole their stuff. I'm like, how dare you?
We asked criminals. So nicely. Tactically acquired, bitch.
Yeah. I found these things in a reefer van. Yeah.
Yeah, say steal to my face again. Tactically acquired, bitch.
Yeah. I like that. Tactically acquired, yeah.
I don't know if you're allowed to say Snicker anymore. I think it's Snicka.
Well, we're not.
I'm a Reese Cup man myself, so it don't matter.
All right, as of now, this is... Oh, wait, it is playing. Holy moly. I didn't think it was going to work. Let's watch this bad boy.
I'm waiting on you. You got the controls. Hey, yo.
Wow. So y'all current military or are you vets?
Army all the way. Trail name's Bacon.
I'm Army. Trail name's Peanut.
I'm a Marine. Trail name's Mini-Me. How about you?
Well, I'm Army, but I don't have a trail name yet.
Oh, don't worry. Your trail name will find you.
I was always told never to quit anything till tomorrow.
Amazing, isn't it?
Couldn't think of a more beautiful place in the world.
What are those names on your pack?
That's my family there. I made a promise to some very special people. These name tapes don't leave my side. Trying to raise awareness. Hopefully try to find some kind of solution.
If you would reach just one person, you're the keeper.
George shall ever be known as Keeper.
Keeper of the names.
I've been called worse than that.
I had a bad dream.
What are you hiding?
One moment can dictate your entire life.
We're all gone.
People shouldn't start what they can't finish.
What the hell are you doing?
We trusted you to carry these memories.
What I do is my business.
You're never alone on this trail.
Wow.
Yeah, be sure you watch it with somebody, man. It's a
rude.
Yeah, it'll hit you, man, because it's
it's gonna have some Taking Chance vibes. I know it.
Yeah, but I was there all 22 days we were filming, and the only scene I couldn't watch them do was the scene behind the tree, because the weapon they had was inert, didn't have a charger handle, no, it wouldn't make a sound, right? Everybody there that day heard a click as he pulled the trigger. Just when I heard that, because I never pulled the trigger, obviously, but that click was enough to set me off, and I had to leave the set. walk back up the trail, and get out of there. But I think after like day 2 or day 3 of filming, all these actors and actresses, and when you see Haley Babula's scene about MST, there was a reason DOD called. Basically, the Army saying, "Look, man, y'all just why would y'all put a black-eyed military?" It's like, we didn't do it, you did. But I think the name tapes that the people they were playing in the movie, I think it affected them to where their acting became that much better because they were impacted. They knew their character were real people,
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was there were some fun times. I got trapped in a privy in Pennsylvania by a bear. That actually happened. So it's I don't think I shit for a week after that because your colon kind of tightens up. You got to go boo boo out front. It's like, no.
Good.
No, it's like going to prison, man. You just don't go to the bathroom for a while. So
not this week. Ain't happening this week.
Yeah, it's
I need all the fiber.
He said he watched a couple episodes and he likes the barracks talk, essentially, that we're adult in nature.
Yeah.
And tell him the story about your grandma. I fucking lost it.
Oh yeah, that's so I don't think they still have it nowadays. And basically, you have the Christmas Exodus. If your basic falls on Christmas, they'll let you go home.
Yeah,
we went home. Yeah, and so we're at my grandmother's house for Christmas dinner, and again, my father, a veteran, and we were sitting there, and I remember literally asking my grandma to pass the fucking potatoes because that's, I mean, I'm in week 6 or 7 of basic, almost at the end, and it's like the word. I mean, they issue a rifle and the word "fuck" when you first join up.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad he looks down, and my grandmother just looks at me and smiles because she knew. She raised one of them. She knew exactly what was going on here. But yeah, it was like, "Grandma, came back for fucking potatoes." Ooh. Sorry.
I mean,
I guess my Christmas stocking's going to be a little low this year, huh?
Yeah. I mean, mashed.
Mashed.
Can I have some of them smushed taters, grandmother dearest? Oh man, that's
hilarious.
Yeah. So yeah, us with the Marines, it was the whole I. You couldn't say I or me. It was this recruit or that recruit. So 3 months of getting worked if you used I or me at all. They tried to let you like the last 4 days, so you could maybe not sound like an idiot when you went home. But yeah, no, I said this recruit to my father more than once, and I was just like, of all the people, shit, I don't like it. Brainwashing at its finest, ladies and gentlemen.
I never understood this. They always say that the few Marines, obviously they're proud, but the few, I see more Marine bumper license plates around here. And when I was on the trail, I'd say 90% of the vets I saw out there were Marines. And I'm thinking,
I'm not saying that
we
are the ones
out here. Okay, I feel like I'm being stalked by Marines.
Whoa.
So I started wearing the loose pants where they weren't as tight. I didn't want to get them excited or anything like that. Crazy ass Marines.
Whoa. So first off,
you buy them books in the school,
we
they
can
still become
score
Marines.
way better than you. We don't need no army track.
Oh man,
no, I'm sorry that we are the ones who are more likely to do physical activity after service,
to commit felonies,
and go just stay in shape, and keep a good fighting weight going. God forbid, right?
You literally break water. I mean, that's why Mom don't let us have nice things around the house. I mean, it's
just like, oh no, so many Marines out here just being physically excellent, like the Appalachian Trail, where are the soldiers at? I don't know.
Then you'll definitely like the scene in the movie where I tell that one Marine that if I wanted to go on something easy, I'd go to Marine boot camp.
Says the guy who went to Army boot camp.
Yeah, well, granted, not everybody gets to see the sunset from the bow of a ship because the rest of us scored higher in ASVAB. But I'm just saying.
I would say no one is like, man, I wish I trained at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. Like,
No, they don't.
No one
No.
on planet Earth
No,
is
no.
like, man, I sure would love to go to Lawton, Oklahoma. I bet there's a military base in the tiny town of Lawton, Oklahoma that I would just love to be at.
I don't know if you've ever seen negative 40 degree and 80-mile-an-hour winds in the middle of summer. That's what Oklahoma is. Right?
That's where they train Artie.
God, yeah.
You're shooting 777s and freaking howitzers into the damn wind. Like, look out, Muskogee. Shit might get real.
Yeah. No, but there's an impact range called Apache Range, and we had a Capex, and they had General Voss, General Vano, Dick Cheney was there, and Charlie Battery 518th was the creme de la creme. I mean, these guys could drop a 16 or 200-pound Projo 16 miles out in a 55-gallon drum, right?
And a battery is 3 guns?
Should be 4.
4 guns.
Yeah,
right,
4 8-inch.
A battery is the unit of gentlemen, well now ladies and gentlemen, that would run 4 artillery cannons. Sorry, go.
So well, we had just finished the field exercise, and they were going to use Alpha or Bravo battery for this Capex. Well, they wanted Charlie. Well, Sergeant Aguilera has already back there. They already cleaned their guns. I mean, they're getting ready to go home, and they've been in the field for 2 weeks. Well, comes back and they said, no, we want you to go back out, get one of your guns, grab, what you need. We want you to go to this location, set up, and you have, 45 minutes to do it. We're going to fire a round into the Capex, hit 2 targets. You come on back here. He's like, okay, not a problem.
Snipe.
We never saw him after that. I'm pretty sure he was out of court-martialed or something, but he fired an 8-inch howitzer from the motor pool.
What?
14 miles out, it hit in the impact area it was supposed to hit at. This man fired a howitzer from the motor pool, blew windows out on the other side of the street. Okay, blew the windows out in the motor pool, cracked windows next to vehicles, that were literally in front of the gun because he fired over. Okay. Yeah,
the block in general was shook.
Oh yeah. But he hit his target, and I'm like, okay, look, you're probably going to jail. Fucking A, man. Well, you're pretty badass.
But you just sniped a target with a cannon, but at the same time, bye.
And the Walmart parking lot, so it's
bless. Could have hit a Prius on the interstate.
Yeah, there's a 155. They dropped a round into the, this is back in 87, 88, I think, in Lawton, in the mall at nighttime. One of their 155 rounds landed in the parking lot of the mall, downtown Lawton. Yeah.
Which is about this big bullet.
Yeah.
It's like this big a bullet. It literally is just a big ass bullet.
You get the gosh, they were. I know we had Charge 6 red bag. They're using 25-foot lanyards. That's the highest you can go on your charges, and usually they have a little small lanyard put next to your leg, and you twist like that next to your gun. Well, 6-bag charge rated 6-bag, and it's the gunpowder is like rabbit pellets in a white bag. It's got a red band around it, and so we're actually we called a bunch of those rounds in, but the smoke of the gun. He's like, God, I hate that. What's wrong? Click, walk over there 25 feet. Why? Because it might blow the fucking breech of this thing off. I was
going to say, everything's hot. There's so much paper debris in there.
Oh, yeah.
So a 6 charge so the round will go farther if you put more charges on it. And charges are little explosive devices that will basically propel the round much farther. Six is as many as you can do.
6. Yeah, that's your max.
6 is as many.
Yeah, they're about 14 inches tall, and they're 8 inches in diameter. And they're packed full of gunpowder, which are the size of rabbit pellets. And you have 6 of these bags in there. And we actually fired, I think, a half a dozen. I know 518th fired over 6,000 rounds in 72 hours. 6,000 artillery rounds. We fired a couple of dozen wrap rounds, which is rocket-assisted projectile. Normally they'll go 16, 18 miles. This one here goes 24 to 28 miles. And so there were some long distance far out targets that we were hitting, and they were accredited. 75th Artillery Brigade was accredited with engaging 2 Republican Guard divisions. And their division, 7th Iraqi Army Division, was one of them. And you're talking 40, 50,000 men. And people were saying, well, they were, surrendering, weren't they? I'm like, yeah, a lot of them were. 500,000 did.
Yeah.
There's still another 500,000 pissed off people in the fucking desert,
Yeah.
So,
who are just, fuck it, I will protect this piece of shit until forever.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And they were no joke. Like, they were pretty formidable force. I mean, on some level, not
the Republican Guard.
The Republican Guard.
Yeah, the Republican Guard.
Yeah,
in comparison to everything else over there, they were easily the most well trained and organized.
Yeah, they just got finished fighting the Iraq-Iran war. So these guys, we thought they were combat ready, but it just goes to show you that when you're the baddest military and you do what basically the military is allowed to do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, and I believe when we first went into Iraq, this first time we should have done that. Get in, kick the shit out of them, and leave. And I think what happened was, from what I've been told, Vietnam, we needed a win after that, and the Berlin Wall just came down, so we had to show Russia, hey, we're still tough. So Desert Storm kicked off, and it was like, here, Schwarzkopf, do what you do best. And I think when the politicians and American people saw it, they were like, hey. But if they really understood what went on over there, they'd probably be like, holy fuck. Y'all are, that's violent. Y'all are some vicious. We thought Americans were, great. It's like, yeah, we're great. But we'll also stomp a bloody mullet hole in your ass. I mean, that's what we do. Kill
you a whole bunch of times.
Yeah. It's they had one video that infantry, he was a Marine. I won't say infantry, he's a Marine. That he come out of, they were at the top of Nangarhar Province, wherever we're at, but fire base, and he's returning fire. This guy's got heart-shaped boxers on and fucking flip-flops. And they're like, dude, Marines will fight you in boxers and flip-flops, okay?
I mean, you can't control when we take fire.
Exactly.
If he was in his rack, he's not going to be like, oh, so I'm going to put on some pants.
Yeah.
Like, no, he's going to get behind that Hesco barrier and start slaying bodies.
Exactly,
You got work to do.
Exactly. I'll worry. But
pants? Fuck pants.
Yeah. So heart-shaped boxers and t-shirt and
well, shit. We got a Marine that's got a confirmed kill with an MRE spoon. There's a Marine that has a confirmed kill with his right lower extremity prosthetic.
Oh, fucking A.
Took his own foot off and beat the shit out of somebody.
Fucking
and I'm just like, let's fucking go.
How did he kill somebody with his MRE spoon?
They're kind of a diesel spoon. Like prisons would have to get rid of them very quickly. Yeah. They could very easily be made into shivs.
You can skin a deer with one of these, okay? So
it's a pretty diesel plastic. Like if you shaped it right, you could really do some damage. But yeah, so that's not shocking. Because you gotta eat protein dense crap out of a bag with it, so it can't be bending and snapping on you.
There's a guy that. Go ahead.
Oh, so you throw the crackers hard enough, they'll stick.
Ninja stars.
Yeah.
Take someone's eye out with one of
them. Yeah. That's
Try and eat a whole wheat snack bread with nothing.
Oh shit! Yeah.
That reminds me. I hit my brother in the eye with an Oreo when we were young.
You're brutal, man.
Killing him.
He was being a smart ass, and I was eating fucking Oreos, and from across the room he said something, and I just like laid it on its edge and fucking frisbeed that shit over there and hit him right in the on the cheek underneath his eye.
That'd have been the one he never let go of if he just.
Oh, he still talks about it.
If he just.
If he would have caught.
Yeah. Thanks, bro. And then you'd have been so fucking mad.
Dude, and we had another incident when I lived in St. Pete, Florida, and we're adults now, right? So I'm sitting. It's like 3 a.m. We have been drinking. We're like, when you're past, like you're over, you're drunk, and you're coming back down, and you're just hungry and fucking tired. We're sitting at this place that served food on the street till like 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'm eating some cheese fries. And there's this hot girl that I had a crush on who keeps walking by, and I can't remember the exchange, but more or less she was going to get food and to come sit down and eat some of my cheese fries. And I'm like, hell yeah, dude. we're going in the right direction here.
Oh shit, poutine
So,
and poutine.
so I save some of the fries, and I'm sitting there, and my brother stands up and steps between me, like looking at her and flirting with her, with his hand, grabs my cheese fries and shovels it in his mouth. So just as a reaction, I pick up my super lightweight plastic fork, and I just kind of chuck it. I'm not like aiming, I just chuck it. And it, like Cupid's freaking arrow, goes straight into his eyeball with the point first. And fucked up his, like, stuck in his eye for a split second, and he had to go to the hospital. Yes. He ended up waiting at home and fighting me that night. I was like,
whose fault
it
is
wasn't
this?
on purpose.
Why you eating my fries? They were gonna be aphrodisiacal fries.
That's right.
It was gonna be the connection I needed, man.
You
ruined everything.
locked.
Yeah,
He doesn't let much time go by before he reminds me that I fucked up his eye twice.
But he's never grabbed your fries yet, has he?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
No, my fries have been safe since then.
Yeah, what now? Sometimes you gotta let them know.
I got my service dog over there about to be a pain in the ass, but she's okay. I'll
hit him with a little cheese fry storm.
I'll throw a fork at her.
I have no idea why this just popped into my head, but for the people who don't know, a lanyard is what they use, the firing mechanism on a cannon.
Yep.
He had said so it's literally a string that is yanked, and on the bigger charges it has to be longer. So the 25-meter one being the longest one.
Yeah,
so that because the whole fucking thing moves.
Yeah, so your primer looks like a 410 shell.
Got to get away from it.
And they slide in there, and the whole breech, the whole barrel shoots backwards on that self-propelled. It goes in this little hole. And you don't want to be standing in that area. Because when that thing comes back, whatever's in front of it is not going to be there much longer. Yeah,
the videos of dudes even wearing their plate carriers getting caught in a chest plate.
Oh, yeah.
On one of, oh God, why? Like, I'm not gonna say it's almost always your people, but like the camis are distinctive colors.
I'm not trying to lead in anything. We're just saying.
I'm just saying. It's like that 777 or the howitzer. Is which one? The breech operates the same, right? On both, it's not a different mechanism.
Oh no, the 8-inch howitzer self-propelled. That one is that you've got two giant hydraulic arms that stick up, and the barrel sits between it, and that's where elevation. But when it comes back, the whole barrel shoots backwards, like this here.
Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a barrel that's almost like 19 inches around. I mean, coming back, the barrel alone weighs.
If you're not wearing your gear, your entire chest is coming out your back. Like
your barrel weighs 18 tons.
Yeah, so, and then per square inch, the poundage that they're pushing back is in the like 100,000s at a 6 charge.
They'll put the spade down, and the spade they dig into the ground, just like a bulldozer blade looking thing, and that's what basically holds the gun in place. So when they fire, your gun doesn't drive into the next county. So it'll take that spade. Once you shoot around 3 rounds, they've got to readjust their spade again. And a surveyor, when we survey a position for the guns, the fire direction FDC will be able to tie them out with the computer. So we give calls back to them where we're at. They can immediately, within milliseconds, they can have a fire solution in that gun to where, the old days of Vietnam, they have to have 2 maps and mapping this, mapping that. Okay.
Oh,
and you're going to hope it hits where it's supposed to.
Tiny dots.
Yeah. So danger close, we can bring in danger close is 600 yards. 8-inch howitzer, you'd probably want 1,000. But 155, 600 yards, or 105, you probably bring around 400 yards.
I'm trying to think of the elevation on that gun. If you're shooting at 600 yards, it's damn near straight up.
No, from our position, they can shoot out 14 miles, but when it hits, we'll be 400 yards away from where we're aiming at. So that's how accurate they can get. Again, the 8-inch rounds. When we throw air burst on that, you don't want to be anywhere near that within 2,000 meters. I mean,
I was a mortarman by trade, so
you were you were like the Coast Guard, the baby Navy. Yeah, you were baby artillery. That's okay though.
All right, Queen of Battle.
No, we're the King of Battle. The infantry is the queen. See, the King of Battle keeps the infantry from getting molested.
Where does the king hang out in the battle? He's up on the hill, not doing a fucking thing.
Usually the stripper club down the street, getting in trouble.
He's way up on yon ridge,
Hell
not
yeah.
doing a fucking thing. They brought a throne. They bought a throne for your dumbass to sit on top of that hill. Let's go make famous that field over there.
I will say this about the Marines, though. I mean, it's a good thing, though, that we had one Marine unit. Most of the Marines, they were near the eastern side, near Kuwait and stuff like that. And Kendall Bryant was a Marine. He's a producer of the movie also. But there was a Marine detachment. I don't know who they were with. But when we heard that they were going to be passing through our area, honest to God, you ever get that feeling like, fucking A, my big brother's here to kick that dickhead's ass? That's how we felt. Because, like, Marines are coming to us. It was like, wow, really? Like, we'd never seen them. It's like, oh, my God. Oh, get the parade roll. I want to see Marines. What do they look like now? It was. I mean, we felt good. We're like, good deal. Now that some shit's about to get broke up around here, you know?
Yeah.
Apparently, we're not doing our job good enough out there that they had to call the Marines to come over to us. I mean, just to
you get bored and angry Marines. They're like, who needs some bored and angry Marines right now? Like, who needs some extra killing done? Yes. Send in the white sleeves.
Yeah, it's like,
they're going crazy.
It's like, man,
does the Army look at you guys when you walk up and they go, "Oh, cool, our weapons from last year"?
Trucks are usually the main thing that have Army crossed out, and we wrote USMC in chalk.
Yeah, because they steal everything.
Tactically acquired.
But
also, we do the job in half the time with your fucking hand-me-downs, so...
Yeah, because y'all break shit. Yeah, I mean...
No, we have to fix your bullshit. They haven't given us a new thing
you all
since
break
fucking
shit
Vietnam
you all
when
break
we got
shit
the
that's
M16
unbreakable.
assault rifle.
The man breaks things
They were like, here you
unbreakable.
go. Give me the M1 Garand. Here is what feels like a toy. Have fun in Vietnam. And then that's the last time we got some brand spanking new shit. The rest of it was all just, here, fucking specialists, destroyed this thing a few times. Have fun. It might work. Figure it out.
Like, I mean, we felt bad for the enemy. We're like, Colonel, they really didn't do that. They really didn't do that bad. Marines, come on. The enemy is not that big of an asshole. Did they?
I love looking up the foreign responses to the various American militaries. The Marine ones are always great, and of course that inflames my esprit de corps. All of them are great. But the one about every other military had, like, the lieutenants are there to lead and do, but ours are there to restrain us. Like, they're literally trained not to shoot the officers in modern warfare, because then the next guy in charge is not an officer and he's gonna go ham. The guy who was gonna tell us that we can't do what I'd rather do right now is now dead. So we're not only do we no longer have a leash, but we're pissed.
You don't go into the prison and kill the warden, okay, and wonder why the criminals just took the place over.
It's like, oh no, I done did fucked up, huh?
you done took the shock collar off. Good job, asshole.
It's like, oh boy, they're gonna figure out how that one German felt with the bayonet going in his face at Bella Wood. Immortalized in a painting for the rest of history. A Marine feeding you the first 12 inches of his rifle. Fucking love it. I want to know who that German soldier is, just so I can be like,
send his family a card.
Yeah, it's like, I'm super sorry that your, great whatever was immortalized, being lobotomized in the woods of Bellow. in the good old The Reason the French Don't Speak German, Part 1. Yeah, because we stopped him at Bellow Wood the first time, and then we can't take credit for Normandy. We weren't there.
No.
So Part 2 was all y'all.
Yes.
Woo.
Why?
Sorry. Got a little high, my bad.
No, going back to when you were talking about Iraq, I was watching, there's a guy that has a YouTube channel where he he does like a top down, sort of breaks down an entire battle or an entire war. the movements of
like
of everything and everyone and whatever. And he was doing that for Desert Storm, and it was bananas. Like it went so well that they almost got ahead of themselves.
Yeah, they did. That's what we're saying. The Ford observers couldn't keep up with where we were at.
Yeah, there were so same with a bunch of tanks that had planned to hit a certain thing by a certain time, and they were so far ahead that they had to change a bunch of shit.
Yeah, because the infantry was already in front of them. I mean, by miles. And it's like, okay, where are the Bradleys? Boys are still back there, you know. But yeah, I mean,
the Bradley, and then they figured out how fast Bradleys can go. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we.
Like
I remember
that is the coolest video ever.
The first night we went through the berm, and there's a book this colonel wrote, and he mentions that there were body parts sticking out of the sand, and I had Major Brumley Chief Gilkey behind me at CW4, and we're going through there and we're hitting these holes and ruts and shit. But I'm in the track. I mean, I'm not going anywhere. I'm in the track. So what I'm hitting, Major Brumley's like, he goes, "Why don't you hit another hole?" I was like, "Sir, I'm in the track." And Gilkey looks out and he goes, "Keep driving, Eshleman. Those are not. That's not." We were rolled over body parts, which is fucked up in the mind. But once we, where was I going with it? We had gotten. It may be, 11 or 12 at night, so it's dark. And we didn't realize how close the infantry was over here. And there were some Bradleys that were firing. All of a sudden, they just started firing. And you could tell those. And you watch a tracer go out, and it, ping, so it hits them. And it's close enough to where, you know.
It's unsettling. Like, what did it just hit that close to us?
Yeah, and I mean, these boys are pumping rounds. It's like, ding, 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 ding. Well, I jump, and it's an artillery group. So, I mean, these are gun buddies, man. They're not infantry.
Yeah.
And so, hell, I'm like, fuck it, hey, man. I'm thinking back to, you know, platoon and shit. I'm grabbing I had a 60. We had 60s in. And got it back of the deuce in front of us. And I laid it across the hood of the Humvee. I put a belt in. I'm fucking ready to go. And Major Brumley goes, "You pull that trigger and I'll shoot you deader than shit, Esh." I was like, "What, sir?" He goes,
"Rude.
You're about to draw fire on us." No. Let them do what they're supposed to be doing. Let them clear, because whoever's out there has not seen us yet. You start shooting that fucking 60 over there, they're going to start shooting over here at us. And I'm thinking, and the issue would be...
Makes sense at me, sir.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I didn't ask you for all that sense, sir.
Yeah. Like,
see what I'm saying?
I want to shoot something, you know?
That Major was there to make you not... go ham bone on some goat farmer.
And he had a pretty good point. I mean, because we had the deuce in front of us. You had a bunch of people, you know, and you had vehicles in line and stuff like that. And the enemy's not focused on us. They're focused.
Yeah, drawing fire is never a good thing.
Yeah, and there's Eshleman over there with a fucking 60 being stupid, fucking hitting anything.
Yeah.
Like, Eshleman, pull that trigger, I'm going to fucking shoot you myself. Don't you do that.
Old super dumb man. Yeah, I would say drawing fire is not usually a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Yeah, it's like you're the talk of the party until you start drawing fire. Okay, then they're kicking your ass out of the party.
It wasn't me, I swear. It was the one-armed man.
I was hot. I remember that. And I was ready. I was like, yeah, this is going to be cool. But I think once... I don't know how it was when you first got in country, but yeah, you're pumped. You're like, yeah, I want to fucking do this, man. This is going to be good. Once it actually kicks off, it's a whole different world.
The first time we took fire was intense for sure. Yeah. And we were in vehicles for the most part at first. But then we had to start playing on foot. And taking fire, it was a different thing. I'm excited to know that not so much the training paid off, but like, at no point during taking fire and like dirt popping up around us, like they were relatively close. Did I ever think anything other than get my team to here, get bounding, get this fucking whole squad out of the fucking open, like start making moves? Was my first and only thoughts was, all right, well, we got to go. I'm covering fire. Team 3, get the hell going and, start making moves. And I'm just, that's a cool, you can train or hope or wish. Everyone thinks about what they do if an active gunman shows up or something like that. So I feel fortunate. I feel very fortunate in knowing what I would do in when it's life and death. I'm just like, oh shit, I like
But,
what I'm made of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, it shows. I mean, you have muscle memory. It's all your training.
Yeah.
You hate doing it, but once it all kicks off, and you realize, I think after the first adrenaline rush, when the first engagement's over, that's when you're really starting to go, holy, yeah, this is for real. These people want to kill me. Yeah, and
you can't feel everything right for like
hour or two. It's I mean, you're so pumped, and once you start coming down from it, you're like exhausted almost, and then the next one happens, and because it was for those. I know Desert Storm for those. They say it was 100-hour wars is 42 days. The air war, but we were still while the air war was going on, but yeah, I mean it was, and I can only imagine because every war. The what is it? What should you say? The environment is different in pretty much every jungle, desert, city, Iraq. So no two battles are the same, but they all have the same, premise is their bullets being fired around, and most people would freak out, duck their head, and just freeze up. And I think that's why we have the greatest military on earth, because soldiers don't do that. Marines don't do that. It's like, I don't fight for oil. I don't fight for politicians. I fight for the guy next to me on the other side.
I get that thrown in my face too. How do you feel when the thing didn't even do any oil and pot? And I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I was corporal. That is leagues above my pay grade, biatch. My job is to make sure that motherfucker sees his mother again, and that motherfucker sees his kid be born. At no point does anything the fuck else matter. Like, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure these 12 dudes get home.
Get home.
Like, the end.
Well, I was just telling him,
the rest ain't for me.
Habib over there, he made fun of me on Facebook, so fuck him. He caught one. You should be playing Rambo on the keyboard, bitch. Took you out.
Dummy.
Sorry.
Old stupid head. You don't know shit about fuck.
Old Habib. Yeah.
Love him. Gotta love him.
Boys, we're at the hour mark.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you have any saved rounds that you hoped we would get to throughout the talk?
And you say what?
Any saved rounds, any stories or points or anything that you wanted to make sure that you talked about before we start to close up?
No.
I would say we covered a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, we pretty much did. I mean,
Well,
we got out of it that it's a good movie, that I was artillery and Marines are crazy. So, yeah, we pretty much covered it. We covered it.
The cliff notes are solid.
That's gonna be the title of the podcast when I release it. That's perfect.
I know a guy who comes up with titles. You just saved him 10 minutes of trying to be clever, because that was solid as shit. Well, then, do you have any projects or upcoming anything that you'd like to plug, or any ways to support the things you support?
Yeah, I mean, just I'd hope people go out there and look at the movie, watch it, pass it on to other people, whether you're a civilian or a military veteran. But yeah, you're never alone. And there's a group called Purple Heart Homes that says putting the pieces back together. It was founded by two Iraqi war veterans, and one of them had since passed away. But they were both pretty tore up in there. But they build tiny homes for veterans, and these are like $100,000 tiny homes that these guys do.
Wow,
that's Purple Heart Homes. They're fantastic folks, fantastic people. So, one of Devin's a Marine, and when I went to the film festival in Statesboro, North Carolina, and Marines don't stop drinking, I don't think. And I can pretty much drink, but I've never drank for 4 days straight. And I went to college. I can drink, but I can't drink it's just, oh gosh. You'd wake up. And I went to bed at 4 o'clock this morning. I wake up at 7. He's still drinking. It's like, dude, this is like 2 days ago.
I never picked that up. I'm not a drinker at all. It is a family trait that skipped me. But yeah, we had dudes who would come in like finishing moonshine and then going on a run.
Oh yeah,
And one of them was honorary. He made honorary sergeant in the Marine Corps infantry at 3 years.
See, you wouldn't want to run. We've had a lot of those, and I'll go and say me and Shannon and Bauman, we were probably the worst of them. That we were drinking all weekend, and we woke up. Well, we started drinking, again. We actually didn't go to sleep. It was about 3:30 in the morning. We're choking down. We're like, how much? We've got to go on a run later on today. We'll get some more beer. And Shannon's wife comes out of bed and she goes, "What the hell are y'all still doing up?" She goes, "Y'all got to be at work in 2 hours." We're like, "Today's Sunday." She goes, "Today's Monday." Oh, fuck.
Holy shit.
So we go into post, and luckily we drove protocol, right? So Shannon's got Colonel Lawrence. Bauman's got Sergeant Major Spicinger, and I got Brumley. Well, we go into Sergeant Major Spicinger. He kind of talked to Bauman, and Bauman hadn't been drinking, that day. When me and Shannon were. And he told Bauman, he says, "Well, look, there's really nothing going on here today, nothing on the schedule, so y'all go ahead and head to the house." Oh my God, thank God. Well, before we were able to go to the house, he wanted us to do PT. You don't run in the front of the formation. We made so many enemies because me and Shannon were throwing up and sweating, all this. Oh man! And people behind us were running. Oh yeah, I'm looking at him
just
over there,
trying to breathe, and you reek of booze and puke, and piss.
Oh, they're having to dodge the puke. I mean, it's like
and find air that's breathable.
Yeah, I
the
think
middle of that bitch is just carbon dioxide from everyone exhaling, anyways. Like being in the middle can be shit.
Sergeant Major knew we were drunk, and I think that's why he made me and Shannon do the PT. And he knew we had been drinking. So he's like, "I'll fix these boys. That's fine."
Dunsky.
But anyway, that's a last story.
Hard life lessons.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got to have them.
Well, George,
sometimes.
It's been an absolute pleasure, man. Enjoyed having you on. Fun watching you guys throw shade at each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because, what's the Army know about anything?
Hey. Same brother, different mother. So it's,
I love it. Well, I'll let you know when we're releasing. It'll be in a few weeks. Okay. But had a good time, man.
For sure.
Yeah, I like this.
Maybe we'll get you back on here in a few months or something, and have another. You guys can save up some bullshit to throw at each other again.
Yeah.
Hey, I threw left-handed. I got you.
Yeah. I like to dig a little deeper in my repertoire for the Marine jokes. So,
bring it on.
I didn't mention the crayons. Those are kind of that's old schools. Yeah, see, so I didn't mention the crayons.
Can leave that the hell alone. It was a pleasure chatting.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wonderful goodbye. Have a wonderful time.
Yeah, you had to go there and just head up, didn't you, George?
I hope you have such a good night, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. And word of mouth is a huge deal. Please. I think it does more than the liking, sharing, and then subscribing part, probably.
Mm-hmm. Tell your friends about me.
We are glad that you are still fucking here.
Cool.